The film opens on June 4, 1987, in Tropea, Italy. Father Gabriele Amorth, chief exorcist of the Vatican, is summoned to a residence where he is informed that a young boy's disturbing behavior indicates demonic possession. Confronting the boy, Father Gabriele hears him declare that he is the devil and unafraid of what he calls a hypocritical God. Gabriele challenges the entity, demanding its name and questioning why it chose to inhabit a child rather than a powerful figure. The demon insists it can possess anyone, at which point a pig is brought into the room. Gabriele provokes the spirit, claiming it cannot even possess the animal. When the demon enters the pig, the creature is immediately shot, and Gabriele reassures the boy that the devil has departed. The narrative then shifts to Julia, who relocates from America to Spain with her children, Amy and Henry. They move into a family estate undergoing renovation, where they meet Carlos, who introduces Julia to Father Thomas. It is revealed that the property, a church, has belonged to Julia's late husband's family for generations. While exploring the basement, Henry discovers a hole in the wall marked with a Vatican symbol. Later, Julia confides to Amy that they are financially strained and plan to sell the church once repairs are complete, asking her daughter to watch over Henry in the meantime. On July 2, 1987, Father Gabriele is summoned to Rome for questioning. Cardinal Sullivan confronts him about the Tropea exorcism, which was performed without episcopal approval. Gabriele defends his actions, claiming the boy was mentally ill and that he manipulated his mind rather than confronting a demon. Bishop Lumumba supports Gabriele, noting that he refers the vast majority of cases to medical professionals. Sullivan counters that the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith has recommended abolishing the office of chief exorcist, arguing that the Church must move beyond outdated beliefs. Gabriele challenges this, asking if Sullivan denies the existence of the devil, and accuses him of being motivated by the controversy surrounding Rosaria, a girl Gabriele had written about. Sullivan warns Gabriele to show respect, but Gabriele insists his authority comes from his bishop and that any dispute should be taken directly to the Pope. Meanwhile, at Julia's home, a worker investigating the basement hole is severely injured by an explosion. Carlos warns Julia of the danger and halts the renovation. Soon after, Henry suffers seizures, frightening Julia with violent outbursts and ominous declarations. At the hospital, doctors find no physical abnormalities but diagnose him with psychosis, citing trauma from his father's death. That night, Henry exhibits disturbing behavior, including inappropriate actions toward Julia and grotesque markings on his body, demanding a priest. Father Thomas responds but is violently rejected by Henry, who claims the wrong priest has been summoned. In Rome, Gabriele meets with the Pope, who acknowledges the growing skepticism of Satan's existence among church leaders but insists Henry's case is genuine and dangerous. He instructs Gabriele to travel to Spain to confront the demon. Upon arrival, Gabriele meets Father Thomas, who admires his writings. Together they visit Julia's home, where Gabriele offers to assess Henry before Julia decides on further action. During prayer, Henry reveals demonic traits, mocking Gabriele's faith and exposing his deepest fears. The demon references Gabriele's wartime trauma, when he failed to fight and lay among fallen soldiers. Henry then vomits a bird, terrifying Gabriele, and the demon warns that his sins will find him out. Gabriele concludes that Henry's possession is linked to his father's death and unresolved trauma, which left him vulnerable. He assures Julia he will not abandon them. Meanwhile, Amy experiences supernatural disturbances, including a chilling phone call from her deceased father warning of impending doom. Gabriele tells Thomas that the demon is powerful and that discovering its name is essential to saving Henry. He instructs Thomas to pray during the exorcism without engaging the demon. During the ritual, the demon manifests visions of Rosaria, accusing Gabriele of failing her and condemning her to hell. Gabriele insists his sins are forgiven, but the demon exploits his guilt. The entity also exposes Thomas's past transgression with Adela, enraging him until Gabriele intervenes, reminding him it is a demonic deception. Afterward, Thomas confesses his regret, and Gabriele prays for his forgiveness. Gabriele realizes the demon's true target is not Henry but himself, recalling its claim that he is trapped. Investigating further, Gabriele discovers the Vatican seal in a nearby park, recalling the Pope's warning of historical problems at the site. Meanwhile, supernatural forces intensify at Julia's home, with her crucifix turning upside down and a malevolent presence attacking her in bed. Thomas is reciting prayers when Henry calls out for help, prompting him to enter the boy's room. As Thomas approaches, Henry suddenly awakens, bites his ear, and ominously declares that no one will escape alive. At the same time, an unseen force hurls Amy from her bed. Terrified, she hides in her closet, but even there she is attacked and dragged away. Meanwhile, Father Gabriele discovers a well beneath the Vatican seal. When he drops a burning piece of paper inside to investigate, a massive explosion erupts. Returning home, Gabriele and Thomas hear Julia and Amy screaming. Gabriele instructs Thomas to check on Amy while he rushes to Julia's room, rescuing her before confronting the invisible force assaulting Amy. Commanding the entity to leave in the name of God, Gabriele successfully expels the demon. Recognizing the house as unsafe, they move Julia and her children to the church. Gabriele then shows Thomas the well, where they uncover a seal of the Spanish court. Gabriel explains that this represents one of the darkest chapters in church history, marking victims who refuse to renounce their faith. In the basement, they find a broken wall bearing the Vatican's stamp and detect lethal sulfur gas. As Gabriel begins dismantling the wall, the demon stirs. The priests discover a hidden chamber, which Gabriel identifies as the Tunnel of Sins. At its center lies the body of the Cardinal Protector, adorned with a ring. Gabriel explains that the cage surrounding him was not a prison but a safeguard, created when exorcisms failed, to shield him from wandering demons and conceal the secret forever. In Rome, the Pope uncovers a letter from the Cardinal Protector confirming their worst fears. A powerful evil had overtaken the Abbey of San Sebastian, defying all exorcism attempts. The demon was stronger than any encountered before. Shocked, the Pope suffers a heart attack. At the hospital, he instructs Bishop Lumumba to inform Gabriel. When Cardinal Sullivan questions Gabriel's involvement, the Pope vomits blood upon him. Back in Spain, Gabriel retrieves a key from the Cardinal Protector's body and asks Thomas to open a door. They enter a tunnel saturated with sulfur, which Gabriel warns is dangerously close to hell. There they discover the corpse of Father Ojito, once a renowned exorcist. From his remains, they recover a book bearing the Spanish court seal, revealing that the demon has possessed countless victims across centuries. In 1475, even a priest was overtaken, and subsequent atrocities were attributed to the demon. Gabriel realizes that the renovation work may have unleashed the entity once more. The demon, imprisoned in the underworld with 200 fallen angels, had been buried in hell, and the church itself is one of those cursed sites. At the church, Julia awakens to find Amy missing. She returns to the house and discovers Amy with Henry, both insisting he is fine. Julia urges Amy to leave, but Henry angrily resists. When Julia tries to take her daughter, the demon violently throws her aside, strangles her, and seizes control of Amy, twisting her body grotesquely. Gabriel learns the demon's name, Asmodeus. As the demon roars, the Pope's condition worsens. Julia and Amy are freed, and Amy sedates Henry with medication Julia had prepared, causing him to collapse. Gabriel explains that Asmodeus once committed atrocities through Ojito and now seeks to do the same by possessing him. However, knowing the demon's name gives them a chance to defeat it. Gabriel then confesses his own past. During the war, he rebelled, and many of his comrades were killed while he survived. He vowed to dedicate his life to God. Yet during Rosaria's exorcism, he dismissed her claims of abuse, arrogantly handing her case to another. She later committed suicide before him. Rumors of abuse were suppressed by the Vatican, but Gabriel carries the guilt, and the demon exploits this weakness. Returning to the house for exorcism, Gabriel warns Thomas that Satan will weaponize their sins, urging them not to trust illusions. In Henry's room, the demon fully possesses the boy, demanding whether they have confessed. Gabriel and Thomas begin the ritual, but the demon mocks Gabriel, insisting he confess to Rosaria. Gabriel envisions Rosaria hanging upside down above Henry's bed but resists the deception. Satan tempts Thomas with visions of Adela, yet Gabriel urges him to continue praying. Together, they invoke Asmodeus by name, weakening him until he collapses with a scream. Henry briefly regains consciousness, calling for his mother. Gabriel encourages Julia to comfort him, but soon Henry closes his eyes, revealing new demonic markings.
Oh my God.
The demon then possesses Amy, horrifying everyone as she climbs the walls and attacks her mother. When Thomas intervenes, the demon strangles him with his stole. Gabriel confronts Asmodeus, offering himself as a slave in exchange for the children's freedom. The demon accepts, releasing the family while beginning to possess Gabriel. Thomas protests, but Gabriel orders him to escort Julia and her children to safety.
Come on, hurry!
Left alone, Gabriel battles the demon, attempting suicide, but the entity prevents it. He descends into the catacombs, intending to destroy the demon with fire. Suddenly, an apparition of the Virgin Mary appears, but it is revealed to be another deception, as Rosaria's form attacks him. Later, Thomas finds Gabriel enthroned in the catacombs. The demon claims Gabriel is gone and urges Thomas to flee. Refusing, Thomas reminds Gabriel of his true identity, weakening the demon's hold. As Gabriel levitates, Thomas prays fervently, commanding the demon to depart. The entity screams before leaving Gabriel's body, but reappears as Rosaria, hurling Thomas aside. Adela then manifests, attacking Thomas, but he destroys her with a sacred locket. Passing a crucifix to Gabriel, Thomas enables him to banish the demon. Together, they perform the final ritual. Imprisoning Asmodeus back in hell. Days later, Gabriel and Thomas meet the Pope, who commends their victory. He informs them that Cardinal Sullivan has been replaced by Bishop Lumumba, now a cardinal. Lumumba explains that the Vatican purchased and sanctified the Vasquez family's church, ensuring Julia's family returned safely to America. Henry has recovered. Though Asmodeus was defeated, 199 other demons remain, each bound to curse sites worldwide. Lumumba asks Gabriel to continue the mission. Gabriel turns to Thomas, inviting him to join, and Thomas agrees. The film ends. If you've watched this far, consider subscribing to my channel for more recaps. Have a great day.